you know? But then you find out he snores. And then you find out his breath smells in the morning. And then you find out he doesn't put his clothes in the dirty clothes. They're all, all of the little things. Like, he still needs that original. I have here, men are kind of like training a puppy. You're, good job. Here's a treat. Right? We're really not that complicated. Just a little pat, rub my head, give me some food. I'm yours. What do you need? Men just want to be acknowledged. Men need honor. That may not be fair, but if wives are going to fight for their husbands, there needs to be a tone of honor. Thirdly, a call to husbands. Paul tells us to love our wives, not be harsh with our wives. I'm pretty sarcastic by nature. A lot of times I consider it a gift, but it's not always a gift. It's not always appreciated. It's not always well received. So how we talk, like the tone in which, even if we disagree, the tone in which we disagree is important. And I say it all the time, whether we're talking about reaching the lost or loving people or marriage, like there's a big mirror here. So I don't stand up here and present anything because I have it all figured out by my book. Like, this is real life, okay? Men have to be diligent with the two top things that men need to be diligent with are our anger and our lust. You must love her and not be harsh with her. Lust and anger are marriage killers. Your wife isn't responsible for your response to frustration. Husbands have to work on purity and gentleness and kindness. We have to get anger out of us in order for there to be a connection with our wife. And I'm segueing into the fourth point. A woman's mega need is security. Not romance, security. So a man's mega need isn't sex. A woman's mega need isn't romance, even though sex and romance are part of it. But a woman's mega need is security. Am I safe? Is what they would be asking. Men, do you know what will destroy her security? Your lust and anger. If she's afraid of you and if she feels like she can't compete with other women, it's done. Husbands, if you want intimacy, then make your wife feel secure. She needs to hear you say things like, it's only you. You can trust me. There are no secrets. You have to make her feel that. It's not just her hearing you say that. She needs to feel that from you when you say that. Husbands, keep pursuing. We talk about, or you read in Scripture where it talks about going back and finding your first love. In reference in Scripture, it's Jesus. Falling back in love with Jesus. But I think it's applicable to married folks too. Go back to your first love. You don't have to, like, a mature love. You don't have to, like, fall back into childish ways. But, I'm in love with my wife. I am not a perfect husband, and she's not a perfect wife. But we're in love. Like, my heart still flutters when she walks into a room. Like, and we've been together for 100 years. Like, I know I look good to be married for 100 years. I'm not that old, but and like there'll be opportunities for us to share more and to come. But like, we have a story. Like, we've been through some stuff, and that's my girl. We need to go back to our first love. I still like to hold her hand. We could go to Walmart, and I hold out my arm, and she puts her arm through, but she has to do it on this side because she talks to me on this side. I can't hear her. So we've had to tweak things a little bit. Or we're in the car. I hold her hand. Or we went to breakfast yesterday, and I opened her car door, and I don't always do that, and I don't like the way I feel when I don't. But, like, guys, like, just because you've been married for 20 years doesn't mean, like, show some love. Keep pursuing. Keep protecting. Do you make your family feel safe? Well, I got a shotgun under the bed. Cool, but that's not what I'm talking about. Ephesians 4:29. Watch the way you talk. Let nothing foul or dirty come out of your mouth. Say only what helps. Each word a gift. Speak life. Every great family has a positive tone, and the tone is set by the man. Men, set the tone for your home. We need to communicate to our wives in a way that make them feel important, protected, and heard. Husbands, keep providing. I'm talking about working. Before God gave Adam a wife, he gave him a job. Adam was working so hard, one day God showed up for their little walk and talk, and he's like, man, you need some help. You're out here working. You need a helper. Your job isn't more important than your family, but it's important that you work hard for your family. Our wives need to see. Our wives long to see work ethic in their husbands. For her to feel secure, she has to feel provided for. Lastly, call to parents. Colossians 3:21. Fathers, do not aggravate your children, or they will become discouraged. I referenced my sarcastic tendencies earlier. Like, I used to aggravate my kids. I still do. Not to discourage them. I try my best to build them up and let them see their potential. But I remember when all of our kids were little, and I would just aggravate them, just egg them on. Nikki would refer to different scriptures. Anyway. So according to the Apostle Paul, one of the most important things you can do for your child is don't let them get discouraged. So we know, if you've been in church for a while, you're familiar with scriptures that say, fathers, do not aggravate your children. But we kind of brush over the second part. We know we're not supposed to aggravate our children, but what this is saying, when we do, they will become discouraged. Discouragement is a doorway to depression. We have to keep our children's head lifted. So how do we do that? We have to speak life over our kids. And you as parents, you need to speak life over your kids. Any family, any moms, any dads with kids that ever come in and trust us in this space, I would say the same thing to them. But I am not naive enough to believe or think that every single family that comes through our doors, their kids feel this. That's where we come in. You think you're just sitting in a nursery or in kids' church or in little kids' church because we need space and, oh, please, we need help. But, oh, you're just doing it, so we'll shut up. We're doing it so that the people that trust us in here feel loved and feel Jesus and feel that somebody cares. You want to grow a church? Love on some kids. You want to touch a community? Love the kids when they come into our church. It's a ministry. We can look at statistics. We can watch the news. You can read the daily journal. You can cry out to God on behalf of a lost generation. Or you can step up and love a lost generation. Just because they may not have your last name doesn't mean that they aren't our kids. How do we speak life over kids? They must know that you believe in them. They can hear it, but they have to know that you, whoever is speaking life into them, that you believe in them. And they may not know how to receive that. If you've never heard it before, how do you know how to react to that? Well, if they react differently than what we're hoping for, well, that didn't go well, I'm done. That's not how that works. We keep speaking life. How does a king develop from a life of dysfunction? Because somebody that loves them keeps speaking to the king in the middle of the chaos. And one day, lo and behold, there's a king. So how are you going to speak life into a chaotic life when they've only known chaos, but you're speaking to the king or to the queen that is inside? It's not registering because they don't identify as a king or a queen. All they've ever known is chaos. But you keep chipping away, and one of those times you're going to see the light go on. And they're going to feel something that they may have never felt before. And sure, you'll feel good, but that's not what it's about. It's allowing the light of Jesus to penetrate through years of lies and dysfunction and chaos. And when the Jesus light enters enough to where you can literally see the light go off, it's transformational. They need to know that you believe in them. Not just their friends, their teacher, their aunt or grandparent or boyfriend or girlfriend, but you believe in them, parents. They have to hear that from you. Look at Genesis 49:28. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. And this is what their father said to them when he blessed them, giving each the blessing appropriate to him. You can go ahead and stand with me. I'll wrap it up. Each child is different. Mine are pretty obvious. I had brothers that were 18 years older than me. I had a sister that was 9 years older than me. Obviously pretty different. But that's not what that's referring to. Each child. We have 4 kids, and they're all very different. They're similar, and they're different. Each child is different. Each child needs an appropriate blessing unique to them. So how do we bless? As parents, how do we bless our kids? With our words. Genesis 49:28. Again, all these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them. He blessed them, giving each of them the blessing appropriate to him. 12 kids, 12 tribes, 12 children. To you, I say this. To you, I speak this. It wasn't at all, to you, I speak this. It was, to you this, to you this, to you this, to you this. Down the line, 12. We speak. There's scripture that talks about life and death is in the power of the tongue. And whatever we speak is going to take root. We have choices in our marriages, in our parenting, in our church, in our community, in our jobs. We have the light in you needs to shine bright enough that we choose to speak life. Parents, now more than ever before, we have to outword every other speaking voice in our children's lives. Parents, they need our words. It may be difficult, but this is worth the fight. We have to fight for our families. Pay attention to them. Children spell love T-I-M-E. Quality over quantity. Let's fight for our families.
We're going to end with singing I Speak Jesus again.